43-year-old Velma Obak proudly shows visitors a side of her native Palau they may not be aware of. Most tourists to this tropical island nation come for the beaches, but cultural tours like Obak's are meant to show that there's more to these small islands in the Western Pacific than white sands and coral reefs.
Usually, before, they were just interested in the water, diving and snorkeling. But when they started promoting the cultures, the culture tour, people are starting to get interested in more on a land tour, basically on the cultural tours, because we also offers and shows them our cultures and traditions.
With a population of only 18,000 people and no major industries, Palau's economy relies on the tens of thousands of tourists who come every year, most from China. But while Palau welcomes its Chinese visitors, it's concerned about what it says is Beijing's weaponization of tourism when it wants to get the small nation in line with its policies, such as persuading Palau to stop recognizing the sovereignty of fellow island nation Taiwan, a country Beijing claims as part of its territory. Palauans feel the large number of Chinese tourists here leave them at the mercy of Chinese politics.
Because every country has good tourists. Now, the challenge is how do we weed out the bad ones? And how do we control numbers? So it's really about balancing that component and really picking and choosing the types of tourists we want, which is people who care for the environment, people who enjoy solitude, and are willing to pay a good penny to support indigenous and local tourism.
In the search for more guests like this, Palau has been taking inspiration from ally Taiwan, itself home to more than a dozen indigenous groups, and which has spent years developing indigenous tourism. It's just one area in which the two countries are growing closer, despite China's objections. And as part of a joint bid to boost tourism, they're publicly championing an ancient shared history. Here at Palau's National Museum, a new exhibit curated by Taiwan shows how the Pacific became populated over thousands of years, with migration eastwards starting from Taiwan. It highlights the cultural and linguistic similarities that still exist between Taiwan's indigenous people and Pacific Islanders. This is a treasured relationship for Taiwan, so often shunned internationally due to pressure from China. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te chose this region for his first overseas trip since taking office, a tour which showed Taiwan as its own nation, distinct and different from China, with its own special connection to the Pacific.
I can just say that the Taiwan government or Taiwan indigenous people can use our own languages and culture as a soft power to make friends or to maintain the relations with the Pacific allied countries.
Define them, we group them into different parts of speech.
Many Palauans, like 84-year-old retired teacher Hermana Ramure, are glad about Taiwan's renewed interest in its Pacific heritage. She's finally found a partner in her decades-long effort to protect her country's language, creating a Palauan dictionary with funding and support from Taiwan.
We lose our social interaction. We sort of lose the respect that we express to the elderly or the young people with language. We lose everything. We lose the culture.
In their own different ways, both Palau and Taiwan are isolated. Hundreds of kilometers of Pacific Ocean separate Palau from its neighbors, and Taiwan is often denied space on the world stage because of China. Now, as these two island nations face up to the challenges of dealing with Beijing, they are finding common ground and a new strength in old connections. Chen and Glauert in Palau for TaiwanPlus.